Okay, I'm going to show you how to make the green leaf crown with the cream pip berries. This one. So, you're going to use these leaves, and actually these ones that I'm going to be using are a little bit smaller than the ones that I gave you and the ones that are on this crown, but I'm out of the bigger ones, so I'll do it with the smaller ones. It's the same thing. So you're going to start with your wreath form, or your crown form. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the one that I sent you as like the standard. Don't do anything with that one. Keep that one as your measurement, and then you'll make one. So you're going to use the wire and just pull out, I don't know, as much as you need. That's pretty good. And what I do is I just start at one end, and you can look and see this is the open-ended one, so just look at how big the loops are. And then so I start to make a loop at one end, and I leave myself enough slack to wrap it, so like maybe right here. So I just bend it and make a loop about the same size, and then just I hold it and hold the wire and then wrap, and I wrap it about 3 times, and then I cut it. You try to cut it as close to the base as you can because these are sharp. I don't want them sticking in anybody. So then I just take this and I line it up to the one I use as like a measurement, and then I just go around and I just really tight till I get to this part. And then what I do is I just bend it like at the top where the loop is, or close to it, and then that way I can set this one aside. So again, I don't use that one, I only use the ones I make. So that way, if they're all going to be a little bit different, but if you like, if I were to use this one might be a little bit bigger, so then the next time when I make a crown, if I measure it to this one and that one's a little bigger, eventually my crowns will just all end up huge, because each one will be just progressively a little bit off. So what I do is I make the loop, and then again I just I wrap it 3 times. If you can't wrap it 3 times, if you can only wrap it twice, or if you wrap it 4, I mean, it's not a big deal. I just try to do like the same on both. And so if I started out with 3, I end on 3. If I start out with 2, I end on 2, whatever. So, and it's not going to be perfect. And then once you have it like this, you can kind of bend it so it's a little more rounded. But, you know, it's not going to be perfect or anything, and that's fine. So now I have my cream pip berries, and I dropped one. And these are the ones that have like hints of yellow on them. And then I have this greenery. It's like the leafy kind of greenery. And again, these ones are smaller. The ones that you'll have are bigger. But anyways, you can tell which way the leaves are going, and then the pip berries, you can see which way the pip berries are going. And you want the leaves and the pip berries to be going the same way. So what I do is I start off with my first thing of pip berries, and I wrap it like twice, and then I wrap the tail. And the tail has wire in it too, so what I do with those is I just kind of like push them down with like my thumb to make sure it's not pokey. Okay, so then you take your greenery, and you've got like your tail of that, like the stem, and I just stick it down onto the base of the crown, and then you wrap around that, and then you just kind of wrap around and wrap it to the base. And this part I leave free. And then you just go to the next piece. You do the same thing. When you get to the end of a berry stem, you just grab another one, and I stick it like this with the tail sticking out like that, and I wrap. So that way the berries are kind of like more evenly spread out, but it really doesn't matter. And again, I'm just leaving that kind of free. And then I go back and I'll wrap this around. Sorry, I just started doing it without even thinking. And again, this is sharp, so you push it down with your thumb or whatever. So leave that sticking out. And go to the next one. And I try to wrap like where the stem is, I try to wrap that first once. And then I try to make sure like this outside leaf is like on the outside of the crown base. I'm going to grab another stem. And then this one again, just kind of leave it free. Wrap like that. Sometimes I've been leaving these until the very end and then going back and wrapping them, but then I realized I was like forgetting to do that or missing one. So I was getting ready to ship a crown and I'd see like this big random piece of brown wire sticking out. Okay, so I'm adding another one. I'm going to wrap it around the bottom of the stem first and then just kind of, I try not to wrap the leaves to the base, I just try to wrap the stem part to the base so the leaves are sticking out. And if I have a little bit extra like that, I usually just wrap it and then grab the next one. Same thing. This one's a little short, so I'm gonna have to start it. See, and I have like 4 berries there together, and that's okay. Like it's not gonna be totally uniform all the time. Guess I'll wrap it. Alright, and then I go back and I wrap around this piece. If you ever have like a stem, like at the end of it that's like way too long, it's just ridiculous, you can cut it. You don't have to wrap the whole thing. I just think it's easier to just wrap it. Okay, so I'm going to my next piece. You just do this all the way around. We're actually almost done. Okay. I'm gonna wrap the tail. And again, these are the skinnier, smaller pieces of greenery, so yours is going to be a little bit different. Okay, so when I get to the end, there's like a little bit sticking out. Actually, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unwrap it. I should have done this before. So when you're starting this one, like if there's just a little bit left, you can measure and kind of cut it down to like a size that fits, because you want this part to be like right there. So I'm gonna wrap it. I'm like gonna lose, this might happen every once in a while where like a berry starts to come out, and that's fine, just pull it out. It'll be fine. So that's the end. It's all wrapped, it's all done. So very easy. You can throw this away. And if you have any like cuttings left from like the very ends, you can throw those away too. You don't have to keep them.